A fallen giant is going to rise again. There'll be a massive resurgence for someone. Now, who's it going to be? We can't exactly say. It could be Man United, AC Milan, Ajax, or even...
What?
We can't exactly say. It could be Man United.
Huh?
Oh my God, bro.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass on, boy. Man.
Alright, guys. Today we'll be reacting to 10 things that will definitely happen in the 2025-2026 season. Of course, soccer season, EPL, La Liga, League One, Champions League, Bundesliga. We're just gonna go through what the prediction is, and I'm just gonna say my opinion when it comes to those predictions.
25-26 season. We did this last year and it turns out that we were mostly right. If you want to see how well we did, feel free to go back and check out the video here. Anyway, let's look at the 2025-26 season. First of all, the gap between the big clubs and small clubs in the Premier League is about to widen. Last season, Nottingham Forest finished in the European places. Crystal Palace beat City to win the FA Cup. Newcastle beat Liverpool to win the EFL Cup, while the likes of Brighton and Bournemouth also had impressive seasons.
And that's the sad thing, is like big teams have the money to basically buy these players. I'm guessing that's what they're going to say. Basically buy these players, and the good players in these teams will become their players, and then of course the smaller teams will struggle to compete as much as before. It's kind of messed up that in football money is a very big factor to whether you win or how you do in the later seasons. It doesn't always mean you will win, but it does affect smaller teams that don't have the budget to, get players. I mean, there are certain teams that don't even win anymore to just sell players like.
But expect all that to change in the new season. The big clubs have flexed their power in the transfer window, and that will reflect in the football. Brentford have lost their coach, keeper, top scorer, defensive midfielder, and might also lose their striker. Bournemouth have lost two of their back four and might still lose a third. Wolves have lost their best player and best defender. Forest have lost two of their best players. We could go on, but you get the point. Still in the Premier League,
And I can assure you those players are not... Actually, maybe they are in La Liga or Bundesliga, but majority of them, those bigger... I'm thinking I think Real Madrid did get the Bournemouth defender. But other than that, I can't really remember the other players. But for sure, I I know Man U did get players from Wolves and Brentford. So you can definitely see these bigger teams are now fixing them up.
Expect that the record for most goals scored in a single season will be broken. Right now, the goals record for a 38-game Premier League season stands at 1,240.
I'm guessing they are saying this because of Victor. Victor in Sporting. Victor in Sporting, and then Victor in Arsenal. I mean, one way or the other, they're going to realize sooner or later that it takes more than one player to win them a cup. I mean, if Arsenal lock in, they can definitely do well this season. I'm not saying they can, but looking at, if I'm going to predict who's going to win this season, I'm giving it to Man City.
Perfect.
And if not Man City, it can never be Manchester United, right? And Liverpool, I don't feel like Liverpool is going to do it again. I'm not expecting Tottenham, definitely not expecting Tottenham. You guys know why. But I mean, this record of 1,246 goals, if it's going to be broken this season, I don't think that's going to happen.
6, which was achieved in the 2023-24 season, but expect that record to be eclipsed in the new season. The Premier League has been recruiting some of the best goal scorers in the world this summer. They've brought in Gyökeres, Wirtz, Ekitike, Tierno Barry, among others. And even the proven goal scorers within the league like João Pedro, Delap, Cunha and Mbeumo are joining better teams that create more, so their goal tallies could significantly increase. And that's not even all. We could still see Isak move to a bigger club and Sesko join the league. And don't forget, we still have the likes of Salah.
Sesko has joined Manchester United. Salah is going to be a beast. Salah is always going to be a beast every season. Definitely should have Salah in your FPL team if you're going that way.
Haaland, Saka and Cole Palmer, who will still be hungry for goals. So yeah, that record is at risk. We should be looking at upwards of 1,300 goals scored in the 2025-26 Premier League season. If you think that's a bold prediction, you haven't seen anything yet. In a moment, we'll attempt to predict the winner of the 2026 Premier League title using patterns and statistics. But first, let's go to La Liga. Expect big exits from Real Madrid and Barcelona. The relationship?
For La Liga, I'm going to say, Barcelona is going to win La Liga again.
Perfect.
And, but it won't be as easy as last season. Last season, Real Madrid I know they did terribly, so they don't want such to repeat, so they'll be more focused on this season. But I still feel Barcelona has a way to.
Between Barcelona and Ter Stegen seems to be deteriorating by the day, and having now bought a new young goalkeeper, the German could be on his way out next season. Lewandowski could also leave the club, and there could be one or two shocking exits. Maybe Rafinha, who knows? Real Madrid, meanwhile, might say goodbye to Carvajal now that they have Trent. We could also see the likes of Rudiger and Alaba leaving, but don't write off either Vini or Rodrigo bidding farewell to the
I don't think Vinny would leave. I think Rodrigo can leave. I think Carvajal will probably play this season as the last season or leave in January. Alaba probably has a higher chance of leaving than Rudiger, but except they have brought good players too this season that could, change the shape of the team, and Alonso could use them differently. But like I said, I'm not really expecting too much from them. There will be improvement, but I'm not expecting too much.
The club. Now, this next one is something we're sure nobody wants to hear, but unfortunately, the likelihood seems high. Big clubs will suffer a lot of injuries. Don't you?
I personally think that's normal, but especially if you have a lot of squad, if you have a lot of competition, most of them are going to get injured. Most of them are going to get injured. Most of them are going to suffer one kind of issue down the line, whether it's in Champions League or in FA Cup or whatever you want to say, because there's too much competition and intensity of football has been increasing lately because of the amount of competition, right? Everybody's trying to win, but everybody's on World Cup this season. A lot of injuries will happen. And this is where the depth of your team would really play a factor.
The messenger, but it will likely happen. There have been a lot of games played over the last couple of seasons, more games than in previous seasons. The Champions League has been expanded, the Nations League is now more competitive, and of course, there's the new Club World Cup. Footballers aren't machines. This significant increase in minutes is bound to affect them. The biggest clubs will be the biggest victims, as their best players are the ones who play the most minutes both at club and international level. You know what else is going to happen next season? A fallen giant is going to rise again. There'll be a massive resurgence for someone. Now, who's it going to be? We can't exactly say. It could be Man United, AC Milan, Ajax, or even...
What?
We can't exactly say. It could be Man United.
Huh?
Oh my God, bro.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass on, boy.
If Man U actually do well next season, that would be a big shock. I don't expect anything good from them next season. Yes, they don't have any European competition. Yes, they got good players, but it's the mentality. It's the you can still tell the team hasn't really changed from last season. Um, and obviously, they struggled more with Premier League teams than even Europa teams. They did better in Europa League than in Premier League. And I'm just gonna say, like, this Premier League is gonna be more tough. So obviously, they're not gonna do bad, but I'm not expecting them to finish below 10th place. But I'm not expecting them to. You know what? If they get top six, that's probably their biggest accomplishment this season. Top six. That's my prediction.
AC Milan, Ajax, or even Everton, but it's certainly going to happen. These clubs have made huge changes. They've bought new players, signed new coaches, some even have new owners. And on top of that, the likes of United, Everton and Milan aren't in Europe. So they'll have much freer schedules in the new season. On the other hand, we're predicting a slip up for the current champions of Europe. PSG had a truly phenomenal 24-25.
Yeah, PSG. They're definitely not gonna win They're definitely not gonna win the Champions League for sure. I can tell you that because one thing I know for sure is that with PSG, like they don't have like that mentality. In fact, even in Champions League, not many teams can actually do what teams like Real Madrid and Bayern can do, where you win one season and then you win the next season. So for sure, PSG ain't gonna win the Champions League. I can guarantee.
Season, tearing everyone apart and on their way to winning their first ever Champions League and completing the European treble. Even though they lost out on the Club World Cup, they could still win the sextuple. That's how dominant they've been. And with how young their team is, everyone expects them to continue to dominate.
But like they got trashed. Oh!
He needs some milk.
Nah, I'm expecting. Yeah.
Next season, but we think that they'll actually be exposed in the Champions League. Yes, it's a bold prediction, but we believe that right from the league phase, PSG will be made to look ordinary. By the time the new Champions League season kicks off, the novelty must have worn off and the fear will go out with it. Once opponents no longer fear PSG, it'll be a little easier to break them down. They'll still be brilliant for sure, but they won't be the devastating team we saw last season. Speaking of the Champions League, there'll almost certainly be an unbelievable run from an unexpected team. We have our eyes on Napoli and Galatasaray. They both just won their respective leagues and they've gone on to strengthen their squads this summer. Napoli have signed Noah Lang and De Bruyne, but they're not.
I mean, definitely Napoli is going to do way better with this guy, Bruyne, in the team.
Perfect.
They're going to do way better, but personally, if I was to look at a team that like nobody's going to expect to do very well this season, I'm going to say Chelsea. And I know people are going to hold me up for this prediction, but I think Chelsea have actually shown like hidden potentials to do very well next season. And I personally think with the way they have been moving with that coach, they're going to at least win one trophy. I mean, they've already won the Club World Cup, another trophy after. At least one. That's my
done yet. And remember, they're led by a top coach in Antonio Conte. Galatasaray, meanwhile, have signed Sane and have managed to get Osimhen on a permanent deal. If a
Amen. Dang.
Perfect.
Dang.
few things go their way, either one of these two teams could make a quarter-final or even semi-final run. Okay, let's now...
Quarter? Yeah.
Perfect.
I don't even think that quarter is gonna be. That quarter final is probably where they'll both leave the competition. The bigger teams will handle the rest. The bigger teams will. Barcelona, for example, will make semifinals.
Perfect.
Teams like I don't know about Real Madrid. Maybe Real Madrid could make the semifinals, quarterfinals.
Perfect.
Liverpool, maybe Arsenal, maybe Man City.
Perfect.
I don't know about
return to the Premier League. Before we reveal our prediction for who'll go home with the title, let's talk about Man City versus Arsenal. That fixture will certainly get a lot feistier next season. Something has been brewing between those two for the last few years, and it could come to a head in the 25-26 season. Last season was pure.
I mean, I'm thinking about one thing I'm always thinking about is, man, like Man City are actually they lost KDB though. I don't know. I don't know why I chose that sound, but I don't know why I think Haaland is not going to do as well as any of the previous seasons because of KDB did leave Man City and this dude was creating mad chances, right? And I do feel like they can win the league because they haven't been doing well lately. So there's going to be like a more refocus on that performances. And like now, probably the boys are hungry to win. So, I mean, Arsenal definitely, my prediction, Arsenal.
Drama. Haaland threw a ball at Gabriel's head, told Arteta to be humble, and asked who MLS was. Then MLS responded by doing Haaland's celebration after helping Arsenal humble City. Arsenal had the last laugh last season, but City will be hoping to one-up them next season. But of course, Arsenal will show resistance. And now the North Londoners have their own big striker who has a lot of personality, so it'll be chaos. We won't even be surprised if there's a brawl between those two teams. But who will go home with the Premier League title? Of course, Liverpool are favourites. Defending champions having a ridiculous transfer window?
I mean, if Liverpool can win it again, good for them.
Perfect.
But again, I don't expect them to do it.
Definitely favourites. Arsenal will always be up there too, second in 3 straight seasons, but now that they finally signed a top striker, they want to go a step further. But here's what we think.
I mean, with the Arsenal talk, I won't lie. They actually have added a lot of good players, decent players to the team, apart from the striker.
Perfect.
So I'm expecting them to do way much better this season, and maybe they can go for the Premier League. I just find it hard to win them as a team. Unfortunately, they have.
That they finally signed a top striker, they want to go a step further. But here's what we think. The title will be won by either Manchester City or Chelsea. And this is not just because we have a thing for any of these clubs. History just points towards them. Throughout his managerial career, Pep has never...
I'm not surprised about Man City. I'm a bit surprised about Chelsea. But then again, I also just not too long ago said personally I was talking about things like FA Cup. Or maybe they win. I don't think they win. No. Chelsea can't win championship. I just know they will challenge, win it. I think personally, Man City, Arsenal has a better chance. But let's see what they want to say about Chelsea.
Clubs, history just points towards them. Throughout his managerial career, Pep has never gone more than 1 year without winning a league title. Never. Chelsea, meanwhile, have a history of winning big trophies under Italian managers. They won the Premier League under Ancelotti and Conte, the Champions League under Di Matteo, and the...
But unfortunately, that doesn't mean anything. Just because your coach is Italian, and again, you could also just say they just won the Club World Cup. Does that mean the trophy legend of Italian coaches in Chelsea is pretty gone? That's crazy if you ask me that you think Chelsea will. I don't think they will do bad, but I don't think
Europa League under Sarri and both the UEFA Cup Winners' Cup and the UEFA Super Cup under Vialli. In case you forget, Maresca is Italian. They've already won the Club World Cup, so that could be the big trophy for Maresca. But they could also...
Again, I have to say the way they did play PSG was phenomenal.
Perfect.
It was amazing, right? So, but then it's just kind of matches where again, it could have been a surprise to PSG and they lost. But if Chelsea can consistently play games like that, who knows? Maybe they can win it. Who knows?
Perfect.
add one more, who knows? We're not discounting Liverpool, of course. We just think having won the Premier League, they'll now be more focused on the Champions League. Also, they haven't won back-to-back league titles since the 80s, so the likelihood of them retaining the Premier League is pretty low. Finally, something very strange is going to happen in one of the big leagues during the Winter Games. We don't know what it is. All we can say is look out for something really bizarre. Now, how many of these things do you think will actually happen? Tell us in the
I do think Newcastle will do very well, actually.
comments. While you're there, feel free to make your own prediction for the 2025-26 season. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. And
Alright, I think that's the video. Like, comment, subscribe, tell me what else to react to, and I'll